ho, ho! It's the world according to Vinnie. No, I'm not Santa Claus, I'm Vinnie. But I thought I'd dress up in some Christmas type outfit since this may be the only show I'm going to do before Christmas. I'm going to be visiting my girlfriend up in Ohio. So I thought I'd don the cap and have a little Christmas cheer. But first of all, speaking of Christmas cheer, I always enjoy a nice cigar. This is L.A. Knox from La Flor Dominicana. I want to give a shout out to everybody at La Flor Dominicana. I love your cigars, and this is probably one of my favorite, the La Knox. So grab a cigar when you're watching the YouTube episode. So let's just get right into it. First of all, Merry Christmas to everyone. Really appreciate you hopefully subscribing. I'd appreciate if you would share it. Go and subscribe. If you haven't, hit the like button, share it to everyone. I really appreciate any advertisement and marketing you can do for me, because it's just starting out, this YouTube channel. So let's get right into some fun stuff. Really fun stuff. And I guess the fun stuff is Attorney General William Barr is retiring. Yep, he's retiring. Not getting fired by Trump. Not what he used to do in The Apprentice. You're fired. No, he left. He's left, and how convenient. How convenient he's leaving. You know, he dropped the ball on the voter fraud investigation. In his farewell letter to the president, and to everyone, he mentioned how President Trump was attacked over and over again, but no closure, like prosecuting those who kind of went after him. No, we wouldn't want to do that. You know, so he leaves, and he's not going to do any type of report. He's not going to give a report, and that's that. I mean, you bring it up, you say there was fraud, and talked about how everybody attacked the president, but you really don't do anything about it. So, in my opinion, kind of sad. So, see ya, William Barr. Thought he was a good guy, and he did some good things, but not really. He didn't do what he needed for the American people. That's the problem. So, anyway, let's go into the second topic. Have you all ever heard of the 1619 Project? The New York Times put something out, and it appears they're trying to help rewrite history, and they're trying to teach the kindergartners all the way up to 12th grade and do this incorrectly with false narratives. It was described by Peter Wood of the National Association of Scholars. He mentioned the founder of this 1619 Project, Nicole Hannah-Jones, was the author. And of this disaster of supposedly school curriculum is what they're trying to put in schools from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. All they're trying to do, and the sad part is, they're trying to teach our young minds to believe in history that's distorted, stating that we've been racist, and as far back as back in 1619, that we were all racist. You know, the one thing I would say is, why don't, has she ever read the Declaration of Independence? Maybe read the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments? Why don't you do some research on yourself, but why don't you think about that? I mean, she's saying all these things, and if you read the document the Founder Fathers did, and then also the amendments that was put in, civil rights, many different things, voting, allowing everyone to vote freely. I urge everyone to see the book by Peter Wood. He's calling it the 1620 Project, which rebuts the attempt by the 1619 Project that Mrs. Hannah-Jones is using to try to change history and to try to teach our young minds to think differently and not know the true what really truly happened. So why was President Trump, why was he not really a typical politician? Because he wasn't. The answer is he had no favors. He had no favors to pay back. As I heard it stated, by some people out in the world. He didn't pay his dues. He didn't have to pay favors. He absolutely owed no one. Typically, politicians, when they may win a local office, then they may go into state office. Maybe they were helped by someone that they, like the kingmaker in that local or state legislators that help young people, men and women, to become politicians, and this kingmaker helps them. Well, when that happens, when he or she gets to state, let me go through this little scenario. The kingmaker, after they help him get into those in those different offices, he may have like a bill, something, an agenda that he has, and he's asking for that favor because he says, remember, I anointed you to be that local politician or state or House or Senate legislator. So when this person then moves on and becomes president, he's had a long career of receiving help. Oh, Joe Biden, what's he been around, 47 years? He's had to do a lot of things, a lot of people that's helped him get there. Now, as they become president, their agenda, it's all over what they wanted to do when they became president. It's all over. What they actually wanted to do, and now because of all the favors and lobbyists that said, hey, I helped you, what they wanted to do is all the way down the list. Way down, way down. Doesn't really get to do anything. The one thing that why Trump he owed no one. He didn't know anyone in Washington, D.C. That's why he really accomplished, he did so much. Operation Warp Speed for the vaccine. No politician would have done it the way he did. He pretty much just went to the pharmaceuticals and said, hey, we're going to keep out of your way. Why don't you help us and let's get a vaccine and save the people around the world. He went to businesses to do that. He knows how to make deals. That's why the mainstream media over and over said his ideas. Oh, there's no way that a vaccine can be found that quickly. There's no way. Well, whoops. I guess once again CNN and MSNBC and the others were wrong, and either too ignorant or stupid to admit that, well, there's a different way of getting these things done. Then you go back and you have these Middle East deals that he's done. He's brokered all these different deals. I saw John Kerry on tape. John Kerry, I don't know where he gets that jaw. It's square and looks like it's made out of putty. I don't know. It's just square and long. He was on tape and he said, these things, there's no way that can be accomplished. There's no way we can have any type of treaties or agreements between different Middle East countries unless the Palestinian issues are solved. Well, once again, incorrect. Sorry. He went on. We can do this on all the accomplishments he's did. He's done this over and over and over, and the reason is he's not a politician. He's a business guy. He did this with no favors. He owed no one. He just said, "I need to help the country." Some of you agree, some of you don't. It's your opinion. So there we go. That's why he's different, and that's why it shook the world. But I guess they can go back to their cocktail parties. They can go back to being, buddy-buddies with all the politicians and business as usual. That's sad for the American people. Now, I saw an article about the influence of our buddy George Soros. And I know a lot of my friends out there saying, well, there's the Koch brothers. And yeah, you're right. That's true. But Mr. Soros has got it going on. He knows. He's done it overseas. He's made money by crashing the British pound. I mean, he's a billionaire. Now, this isn't conspiracy theory. This actually is happening and happened. I mean, he's funding campaigns of the district attorneys in major large cities, also Secretary of States. What is that? Why is he doing that? Well, let me give you an example. I don't know if you've seen the news, but in Los Angeles, they just voted in a district attorney, George Gascon. Now, he won. If you look at the campaign records, clearly Mr. Soros' groups funded him, helped him. All legal. You're able to help whoever you want. Not a problem. But the problem with Los Angeles County, and I feel sorry for everyone out there, is he immediately reduced sentencing guidelines. He also reduced bail. So if someone that committed a crime wasn't able to pay, I mean, that's really what bail is about. Keep them in jail. Let's prosecute them. Go to trial. Either they're innocent or guilty. They're always presumed innocent until proven guilty. But he's going to eliminate that. So, it's so heartfelt. Because, the criminals that can't pay, and now, I understand that. But I wonder what the percentage of people coming back to those trials when they know that they're guilty. I don't know. He's also wanting to not prosecute lower level crimes like burglaries, car break-ins, prostitution. So all these small time criminals, they're going to be emboldened to do other crimes, bigger crimes, increase threatening the law-abiding citizens of Los Angeles County. Let me give you an example of one thing that he did immediately. There was a police officer in that county. He got shot by someone, and I guess the perpetrator also murdered someone else. So what does he do? He takes these mitigating circumstances or additional sentencing things, like he had a gun to commit the crime. It adds on to the sentencing. Well, he's removed all that. So now this person, and he's taken the death penalty out. That's not going to. There's no prosecution for that in Los Angeles County. So what happens is you have a murderer that's done this several times. So he literally could get maybe life, but parole, possibility of parole. So you know how that works. I mean, 7 to 10 years he could be out on the streets, and he's going to be a bad dude, and that's sad. So he is targeting crime and elections. And the reason I say elections is because he's helping out with some secretaries of states, funding their campaigns. So look forward to thugs intimidating you. Because like in Louisville, Kentucky, let me give you an example. A rioter just recently got dismissed the charges. A rioter pointed a gun at a car during a protest. Yeah, they were blocking the streets. So when the rioter pulled the firearm, the law-abiding citizen that was able to carry a gun legally pulled theirs out. So because of that, that was terrible. I mean, how dare you pull a firearm to protect yourself when you see a firearm by a rioter and a protester? Oh my goodness, we can't have that. So of course the case was dropped because that rioter was threatened. Now, many of you see my post, and I guess I'm going to say when I've seen the protesters in Louisville and different places, I always kind of make this comment. Well, I guess it's time to take the 2x4s and strap them to our bumpers and let these illegal blocking of our roads, let's just give them a little nudge. Because I'm not against, don't get me wrong on this, I'm not against protesting. But let's do it on the sidewalks and the corners with your signs, yell, scream, whatever you want to do, and in the parks. Do it where you're confined and make your case known. But when you start blocking streets and highways, that's when it goes off the rails. So when district attorneys, and when they don't prosecute like Antifa and BLM thugs, they're going to start controlling the streets. My dad, he would always say, Vince, if the arresting officer would just take care of that situation, we wouldn't need a trial. Now, that's kind of harsh, but you know what, people, it's coming. I mean, it is coming, and it is sad. It is so sad, and I hope we're not, in these next years, I hope there's no more violence. We don't need it. We need to stop it. We need to stop that. It's just needs to happen. Um, now, let me make sure I'm getting everything I wanted to talk about. Um, because this next section, yeah, here we go. Now for some news of the absurd. I always like doing this, and I found some interesting things to talk about. I got a couple projects, a couple things. Let me make sure I've got my notes right. Yep, there we go. All right, so Vinnie saw this in the paper. The Winnipeg Library reported a magazine was checked out 45 years earlier and was returned just last week in really pretty good condition. Great shape, according to the librarian Stephanie George. It was taken out in June of 1975 and dropped off last week. Really? 45 years and you go, oh geez, I guess I'm going to take that back? What in the world, what's the point? No one's going to read the magazine 45 years. That stuff, I mean, if it was no telling, what type of magazine. Well, we've changed times and times over. So I thought that was funny, absurd that, you have someone saying, well, I guess I better take that back. Don't agree with it, but oh well, it's absurd. Hey, my second story of the absurd, it happened in Nevada. Now, a bystander took a picture of a man. He was walking into Bath and Body Works with his camel. He took his camel in, and they have a picture. A bystander took a picture, and the camel's going through the double doors with the man leading the camel in a leash into Bath and Body Works. Now, I guess when I looked at it, I said, I made this comment, I wrote it down. I guess even camels need to have their skin moist and supple. I guess everyone needs to have their skin. I guess that's why he was shopping with his camel. Or, maybe, the camel protects him. I don't know. That's absurd. Now, one other thing. I have a sports story that I feel is just absolutely absurd, and it's happening a lot. Headlines. Cleveland Indians are now jumping on the bandwagon to change their name. Now, it won't be next year. It's going to be in 2022, it appears. What? The Cleveland Indians? I didn't hear anyone complain. I didn't really hear anybody complain about the Washington Redskins. And I just also read where the Atlanta Braves, I guess some local politicians were considering it. And over 70-something% of Georgians went, no, we're okay. We're not upset. So no one's complaining. But they're looking. Everyone wants to, I guess, make sure they're politically correct. I don't get it. So I was thinking about that. I said, well, if the Cleveland Indians, what's next? My team, the Indianapolis Colts? Are they in danger of having their name changed? And I was thinking about it. I said, you know what? I'm sure there is a group of wild horses that's out there. And they're upset because the word Colt is being used in there. So I'm sure the owner, Jim Irsay, he probably is getting a phone call probably any day to demand action. Oh my goodness. Hey, I guess when I was thinking about the Cleveland Indians, I was thinking, what about the Cleveland Browns? Let's look at this. I may not like the color brown. I'm upset. You're offending me by calling Cleveland Browns. I do not like the color brown. So I was thinking, so what should we do to help everyone that doesn't like the color brown? Well, I think we should change it to, and this is, I may put this in, let's get a petition. What if we call them the Cleveland Neutrals? Would that offend anyone? I don't know. Because I don't think Cleveland Brown, anyone cares. In fact, I think the city of Cleveland, the dog pound,